Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Hardspace Shipbreaker. At the top, team, I wake up this morning, I see all the comments. It's very cool. It's nice that you guys are keeping me honest with regards to the Reactor. Now, I wasn't certain whether the health bar was random or whatever, because it makes sense to me. You know, it says it could be unstable. So to me, in my mind, it would make sense that the Reactor would actually have a random amount of health, because that would help indicate the position on how it could or might not melt down. Anyway, that's my reasoning internally in my head canon. But you guys have pointed out on multiple points that essentially there's two rows of extra health bars on top of the red sort of bad one, the sparky one, or however it works, and that is due to the coolant and the fuel flush isolation respectively. So the question being, do we, with this new information, do we isolate everything to get a safe, clean reactor removal? That's definitely an option. Or do we continue to do the rush job? Because I still want to at least test if I can get those retaining sort of little metal girder things out of the way, because it seemed to be getting caught on them. I wonder if I can get a consistent clean removal if I remove them and clear the path, right? So I'm not 100% empirically done experimenting with that, so we're gonna do that first. But beyond that, you then start to go, well, I suppose the smartest thing after that is to get an isolation key to isolate the fuel, and then cut out the bottom, which was sort of the method we were doing just before, where we cut the fuel line that has already been severed, and then we're paying for an isolation key. But then this opens up the whole argument of like the keys are a little bit exploitative. I think they're unbalanced. They're too cheap. It's not a sunk cost. It's not even an investment per se. Well, it is it's an unbelievably one-sided investment that you must buy the key to mitigate the risk. You're getting into the purple box exploit territory that I still get people daily commenting going, oh, you should cut the purple box behind the thrusters. It's like, okay. The thing that we're pretty certain is an exploit. But anyway, so I digress. So what we're going to do first, because we've still got, what, 10 million to do? So we might be able to get that. No, I don't know if we'll get it done today. I don't consistently get 5 million. Plus, I definitely want to experiment with getting it out the top with the little girders removed, right? Because 50 grand is still 50 grand, even though it's dirt cheap. If I can consistently and cleanly get that reactor out, then why wouldn't I, right? That's just the point now we're trying to figure out is, can I consistently do it, bearing in mind that it has like no health bar and it will spark in probably 2 seconds time. You've got a 2-second window to get it out. And the people that wouldn't want to do that at all and would rather go the other route, I understand. As a man who loves safety and redundancy in stationeers, I totally understand. But on the other side, man, imagine being able to nail that 2-second window every single time, you know? It goes back to the crowd that is like, you should pull the back out to remove the fuel tanks away to make it safer. And I'm like, I understand that. What I'm trying to do is, if I can come up with a technique where I don't have to do that, I can save the bloody 2 minutes it takes to move all that shit out of the way. It's interesting. There's usually a divide. There are people like, what are you doing? And there are other people that totally understand what I am doing, which is obviously trying to trial and error and experiment to find a maximal route. But you can't do that without experimenting. You can't just always go hard in the paint doing what you know. Otherwise, like, what are you doing? Oh wow, this is all depressurized except the crew cabin that we don't care about. Alright, well that's exciting. How about the airlocks? This one will cycle. Yeah, I don't quite understand the short-sightedness of, nah man, just do this, that, and it's like, well, okay, and then what? And then I have no time to figure out how to solve the rest of the puzzle. What are you talking about? Everyone's favorite cut. Oh, that music, man. They've got the music frigging down. Well, I should have booped that when I had the chance. Right. So it gets stuck on these corner things. Now I could cut them. I'm just gonna burn them because this is still, we're not trying to go maximal speed right now. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Right. Da, 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 da. All right, so that's as clean an entrance as we're gonna get, right? And my thinking is, when we pull it out, that's the one thing I haven't really nailed is like, where's the best pull point from? Something I don't think we've tried is going from right at the base. So that's what we're gonna do today. I kind of need to observe it as soon as it comes out, so that's why I'm a bit funny with how I do this.
Reactor meltdown sequence triggered. Urgent action required.
That's a bit of a prick, you know. I had that so far out really clean and it sparked so far. That's frustrating, you know. I think it's too much. It's too much. That reactor, that was like up to here, sort of thing, right? The only way we could have made it more clear from the spark range, or whatever you would like to bloody call it. The only way that we could have made it more clear is if I'd already started to sort of like tow it away forward. No, I think the window's too narrow. It's been a fun experiment and I'm glad I've done it, right? And I've learnt some interesting things from it, but truly, I don't think this is the way to do it. But like, remember, it's part of the process. You have to experiment. For the guys that chime in and say, hey man, you cut how you're gonna cut, I appreciate you appreciating me. Thank you.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Oh, can I take that off the top? Oh, I can. That's cool. Oh, well, we have blown the shit out of the back end. What even is that? Oh, that's a sensor array as well. Oh, that's pretty cool. Alright, we've blown the bum to the bits, right? But like, what we're gonna go with, you can see it here, there's the fuel pipe there that was going through the pack. So we're just gonna do the same thing reverse, the difference being that we have to cut a fuel line along the way. And obviously that presents problems, but we'll isolate. We'll just pay the price on the key and isolate. We need to remove not so much the back, but this definitely. See now, I think traditionally that's actually connected. I think that's just been destroyed there. That's the long spine sort of thing, you know? Okay.
Object not accepted. Please revisit your training.
Alright, well let's get some money out of this, shall we? Oops. And for all the guys, because it's become fairly common that are like, oh, why do you just leave everything floating there and don't tether it to the furnace? Well,
Valuable object processed.
consider, like,
Deposited.
it's just a thought, right? But yeah, why do you actually think? It strikes me that people ask why, but they don't consider why. Does that make sense? They just want to ask the question because they're not really asking the question. What they're saying is, I think you should be doing this, right? Because if you really thought about the question, why isn't he tethering all this stuff as he goes? Like, ask yourself that. Why isn't he doing it? And the answer becomes fairly apparent. Well, it's because he's focused on experimenting on other methods. He's looking at other things. He's got different things on his mind. Obviously, he's not trying to make money out of the shell. He's trying to figure out how to strip individual things. Like, it does strike me as it's a slightly disingenuous question when you just ask that out straight out, and indicates either like you're intentionally missing the point, or you're actually not really asking the question. You're asking something else altogether. I hope perhaps that makes sense. Maybe not to those that are just dogs chasing cars on the issue, you know. But if you just take a hot second to go, why isn't he doing that? And it's like, oh, it's because he's doing an experiment and that's what he's focused on. Oh, I see. Probably didn't have to ask the question when I thought about it.
Object accepted for processing. Credits.
But I mean, you know, look, I'm not trying to be snarky or anything like that. It just seems a bit, you know, question theory is always interesting. You ever hear the theory about if you're a lawyer that you never ever ask a question that you don't already know the answer to? You know, I suppose then you go, well, what are you doing? Why are you asking the question? And it's clearly not for the, let's say, traditional answer of wanting an answer. You're asking the question because it ties into an agenda. You're leading like in the lawyer's case, you're leading a witness in a certain direction. You're trying to highlight a fallacy in something they're saying. So the question's not a question, more of an expose, but like my point is it's agendaed. You're not wielding it as a question. But I always liked that saying. That was always interesting. Like, if you're maybe if you're trying to lay out the groundwork for an argument or a debate or a point of view, you will ask leading questions. You got to be careful though, because even the dumbest person usually can see a leading question coming. Fuck, 30 seconds. I overdid that. I thought I had 60.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Welcome to Vintatron 9000.
Anyway, it's just an interesting thought. I find the people that are like, why aren't you putting the scrap shell that's in your way in the side, aren't actually asking that question. What they're trying to say is, that's what I want to do, that's what I do, that's what I want you to do.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining.
Because if you interrogated your own question,
Well, the getting's good.
it'd be like, because I don't care about the scrap at the moment. That's not what this is about. It's about an experiment. Now, in this particular case right now, I've blown out the back. Our experiment's kind of failed. There's not much that we can really do in that case, right? So I'm just sort of making money a little bit at the moment and talking about lawyers asking questions.
Deposit not accepted.
What happened there? The other consideration, I suppose, is, like, now I don't really... I'm not going to presume I'm the only Hardspace person that people watch, you know. If you're interested in one game, you probably watch lots of different creators. I don't watch anyone. I don't have time to watch anyone. I'm too busy making videos, you know, and talking to devs and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, if there's some other technique that's out there that someone else is doing, I don't know about it, you know. So you gotta, you know, we're all working with a different knowledge base. And I'm not trying to be some world record speed runner dude. I'm just trying to have fun.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Anyway, just a thought. Just a thought.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Alright, let's pop it. Oh no. This is coming apart quite nicely though. So, moving forward, we need to come up with a new strategy. Well, not that we even had a strategy, we were experimenting, you know? And we can put that one to bed, is essentially, I think, where we're at. Is this spine loose?
Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage secured. Credit deposited.
So I think I do like the idea of doing exactly what we're doing, right? Splitting the bottom up open and dragging everything out the bottom. I quite enjoy that. Perhaps that's what we'll do. So where does the reactor fit in? Because the reactor is always part of the equation. Like, respectfully disagree with the whole Buffalo guys, right? But to me, it's inexcusable. You need to be pulling a reactor out every single shift. Rip shit or bust, as we like to say. So I have to get the reactor out. How do I do that? Well, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the fuel line bottoming out sort of technique that I was doing is going to be the go.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a minute left.
Oops.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Is that pressurized? Now this is interesting. We used to interrogate this problem back in the day. In the early part of the series. How best to sever out this? You know? Because we've got these struts. We could burn out the 4 struts. I think if we burnt out... Actually, if we did burn out those 4 little struts right at the front section, it might come away entirely. I'm going to experiment with that as well. So there you go. We did 5 million with all the structure. So 1 million on the nanocarbon panels. And this is what I was going to be doing next on the... You know, as far as interrogating how best to make money. But I wanted to finish with my experimenting on the core. So the core's like 3 million. The paneling that we got was about 1 million. And the shipping containers were another 1 million as well, right? 5.1. Now, in all that, we didn't end up getting the power or the ECU out, which are probably another 250,000 each. So there's another 500,000 we probably could get. So what we're going to do now, where are we at? 5-ish million. You never know, if we have a good shift, we might be able to do it. We're going to pick up another one. I really do enjoy these industrial geckos or heavy cargoes. And we're going to split it open. We're going to splay this thing, right? We're going to do a bone tomahawk to it. There's a movie, there's a reference. If you've seen that movie, you probably know exactly what we're talking about. If you haven't, go watch that movie, but don't eat before you watch it. What a good movie. Oh man. So we're gonna split her up the guts. We're gonna isolate, apparently, which I've forgotten to do. That's okay. You know what we'll do if that's the case? When I go back for tethers and oxygen, I will get an isolation key then. Because we're just gonna be... Cockpit. I want to get to the cockpit. Oh, whoops.
Air pressure level decreasing.
Oh, okay, that's why I got confused. Crew compartment on the cockpit side, bit strange. Oh no, that's what it always is, I suppose. I just don't go up here very often.
Air pressure level decreasing.
And one of the airlocks is probably... There you go.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Alright, let's split this chicken. We could probably go front to back, to be honest. I'd be quite happy to split the front open. A big part of me wants to experiment with the captain's, you know, with the cockpit. Just try and be careful around the coolant. Is there any more here? Nope. I'm so cognizant of clipping through the back of it now. And I know I could be cutting them in the depth as well. I don't want to. It's too dangerous. I don't want to clip something in the background. Did that side, the whole side just come unbuckled then? I think it did.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
It's interesting how it decides what it's going to attach to sometimes. So I clearly stuck that to something else. It's like, no you didn't.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
What are you still attached to?
Object processed. Credits awarded.
Caution. Tether supplies are low.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Warning. No tethers remaining.
Right. So how are we going? 8 minutes. 2:30. I've gone through the tethers, let's say, too fast. So maybe we'll get these cuts in.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Right. So we want to keep everything kind of floating statically if we can help it. Now, as much as we're all in agreement on the reactor health, I don't think there was much against doing this the way I do it. I like the fuse box gimmick, but this thing doesn't really spark or cause trouble. So I don't know why you wouldn't just do this. I guess maybe the fuse boxes are worth something, but they're not. They count towards work orders, I'll give them that.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Nah, coolant's not worth much. I can't really pull the thrusters out.
Your oxygen reserves are low.
Ah, bugger, I broke the coolant line.
Salvage secured. Account credit
Alright.
applied.
We're going in at, what, 1 minute 20 of oxygen? I think my oxygen tank can only hold 6 minutes, so I've made a Well, no, that can't be right. If we've got a 15-minute timer.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Thank you for your
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Thank you for your purchase. Thank you for your purchase.
It does hold 600 seconds. Oh, so we should be fine, right? Yeah. Yeah, we should be fine. What am I doing? I could have come in for tethers earlier. Okay, that's fine. Silly sausage. Can't win them all, team. Also occurred to me, I used to worry about putting the tethers right into the processor, but as long as you can get it past that bloody red line thing, you kind of laugh. Geez, what is this tether doing? Because the gravity gets it, you know?
Object accepted for processing.
I forgot an isolation key. Shit. Oh, I'm gonna get that now.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Have a nice day.
Bugger.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
The ship should still have power. Yeah, it does.
About 5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Why can't I isolate you? Oh, I did. I pulled the power out. You bloody fathead. Oh well.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded. Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Oh. Oh my god. Well, you reap what you sow. Bugger. So the main problem here, in all honest truth, was that I didn't isolate immediately. I need to isolate immediately. I'm my worst enemy when it comes to like pulling the power out and not recognizing at the time that I'm pulling the power out. Like,
Salvage destroyed. Please revisit your training.
oh well, it's a learning lesson. Alright, cool, hang on, we've still got some time. I'm going to cut those joins and see what happens. We'll get this out of the way. I think there's one on the other side as well. No? Alright, so what I was thinking, how far forward can we do it? Yeah, probably these ones, even though that wall's technically attached. I'd be curious, hang on. One potato. Two potato. Yeah, this bloke here.
Material deposited.
Three potato. No, if only. Oh, the furniture's probably holding it in. We've done this dance before. Alright, continue the slight experiment.
Time to start wrapping things up. We wrap.
Why are you giving me a bloody coolant warning? I don't care. Bugger. Colour me curious. You know I like to poke and prod. Interesting. 2.5. Ah, well, you know, 5.5 with a reactor, but we didn't bring that out. And the thrusters, I know, everyone keeps telling me about the thrusters. I know, alright, but we're trying to figure out a path. Because in the scenario where the people get the thrusters, they're pulling the whole back out, they're moving all the fuel out of the way, they're doing all this bullshit. And what I'm trying to figure out is a way to get it all out as fast as possible, potentially as dangerous as possible, but, you know, regulated. But anyway, so it goes. That was my bad for not buying the I forgot the isolation key twice, so I need to just remember to buy it, isolate immediately before I can pull the power out, before I create a bloody scenario where I have to, you know, come up with something on the fly. Okay, cool. We're getting there. We're like, look at that, we're one shift away from qualification, or certification, so we'll be doing that next episode, which will be wonderful. Team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I will catch you guys on the next one.